devastated, heartbroken, grief-stricken, crushed, shattered, inconsolable. These are just some of the feelings that I had after watching that Monday Night Football game and beat down by the Ravens on my Buccaneers. This feels like a virtual breakup letter and more than time to sound the alarm and press the panic button. I really needed a lot of time before recording this. You should have walked away from that game feeling like the season could potentially be over. And we can start in so many places. We came out in that game and looked elite. It looked like Lamar Jackson was going to have a hell of a night with the way that Joe Tryon-Shoyinka and Yaya were getting to him and honestly confusing him. I felt like we came out really strong. We set the tone. You could see the intensity, and we knew we were going to be shorthanded by Jamel Dean going on IR, but there were some positives. Anytime you have Antoine Winfield back, he shores up a lot of things and makes up for any of the guys in the lineup who might miss tackles, which has been a chronic issue of this defense. Thus far, we've looked pretty concerning against elite quarterback play, and the schedule is not lightening up from here. I give us a legitimate shot to beat Atlanta next week because we shouldn't have lost the first game to them. I still think that we have their number and really anyone in the division. But the problem is once you get outside of the NFC South or start facing some of these elite AFC teams that we see coming up here on the schedule in the next couple of weeks, there's no way that you couldn't be concerned even before Monday night about how the teams drop off in DVOA on both offensive and defensive sides of the ball. I mean, last year we were ranked 8th in defensive DVOA, which obviously had us as one of the more elite units. And this year we're just slightly above average at 15th. And in terms of offensive efficiency, we ranked 24th and last year ranked 17th on the offensive side of the ball. So there's been a ton of statistical drop off, which is concerning. Evans is averaging only 87 yards per game, which puts him lower than his typical average. I would say for the eye test, the offense looks significantly better with Liam Cohen than it did with Canales. And now for Godwin to be gone for the year, this is the second time in his career, it's absolutely gut-wrenching. Godwin being out means we lose almost 18% of our total offense. And for an offense that's already struggling quite a bit in terms of efficiency, these are not the things that you want to hear going into the rest of the season. I mean, we really are just scratching the surface of this schedule, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's time that we have a conversation about how this team is going to have to compete with a significantly severe talent drop-off on both sides of the ball. There's no other way around it. Yes, we got some positive news about Mike only being out for potentially 3 games. The defense going into this game had one of the lowest pressure rates, only 15 sacks generated through 7 games, which is below average, not what you expected from the talented guys on the edge. You thought they were putting it all together against Lamar in the first quarter, not only just containing him, keeping him in the pocket, but just getting home on him, despite the injuries to our top corner in Jamel Dean, which of course is another massive blow for one of our best players and stars of the team. Yaya and Tryon-Shoyinka look like absolute studs, in particular Yaya. As you saw, our third down defense and efficiency is allowing teams to convert at a 46% rate. The Ravens completed 9 of 14 third downs and basically kept us on the field even before the game was totally out of reach. One of the hallmarks of Baker's time here in Tampa has been not turning the ball over, and you felt as soon as he threw that interception to Marlon Humphrey and looked a little confused by the pickoff, telling you he didn't even see him, and then doubled down with some other mistakes, you could just feel the momentum shift, and you can't even leave a sliver of hope for a team as elite as the Ravens. And they're not as elite as they were last year, but Lamar Jackson seems to be even better. And he's always licking his chops, looking for an opportunity to expose defenses and really be the calm in the storm. You needed to put out a performance on Monday night that was otherworldly in order to compete with what some people are calling the top team in the NFL. Please let me know if I'm overreacting. Please let me know if I don't have to be miserable all of the rest of this season. Do we feel like Baker is gonna continue continue on with the turnovers? Do we feel like he might get exposed without having Mike on the outside and not having Chris Godwin in the screen game? You gotta let me know in the comments, because I am freaking out. Appreciate you stopping by. Would appreciate a like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell as well, because you might not want to miss what is coming out unfiltered about my Buccaneers and the rest of the NFL. I will see you next time.
Yeah, it sucks for our team, but Chris deserves better than that. He's an unbelievable guy, unbelievable teammate. Obviously, you guys have seen he's been playing extraordinary this year. I don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to have some guys step up. But, yeah, thoughts and prayers with Chris and his family right now. Just sucks. Chris is an unbelievable veteran presence, obviously consistent on the field play, but his, what he does, it goes throughout the whole building, how consistent he is. He's a pro's pro, does everything the right way, shows up, goes to work every single day, goes out of his way to teach the young guys and bring them under his wing. Yeah, he's somebody that anybody in the NFL would want on your team. That's why this one hurts.
It's unfortunate he got hurt. We feel bad about that, but he's a football player and he wanted to be in the game just like Baker and everybody else wanted to be in the game. I do protect my players all the time. That has nothing to do with why we left them in the ball game. We still had a shot to score some points and win the ball game. It happened. It happens in football.
What are the early indications on Mike Todd?
He's got a hamstring right now. We'll see how bad.
And he goes down late in the game, and Joe, it was eerie almost. You said, live to fight another day. And the minute it happened, I'm like, oh, no, you could tell it was bad. I just wonder philosophically, what's the approach? Because you're only down 10. I understand wanting to compete, but it felt like this game had been over long before that moment. I just am curious how you guys land on that.
Winding down, and it just wouldn't end. And, it's just too bad. It's just too bad for Tampa Bay. Their whole season could have changed here with what transpired, with Evans going down early with a hamstring. That didn't look good. And then the injury with Godwin was just not pretty enough that our production truck said we're not going to show it again. I'm sure it'll get out there, and, it just did not look good on his lower left leg.
Right, and that's just, I guess, again, you understand competing until it's over, but I don't know. Yeah. They played until there were zeros on the clock. That's what everyone signs up for, and you just wish the very best for one of the great players and good men in this league. As for the game, the Avalanche, and I keep using that word, but that's what it felt like, Joe. I don't know how many teams there are in the league that can absorb a 10-point punch in the face and then say, all right, that's cool. How about we drop 30-something on your head?